The last time we watched a Gigguk video, he was uh finding out what um BL no, what Omega verse. Still great. I think summer 2024 had some really great anime, but I do think this season has is ripe for funnier commentary. So that's why we're watching this video.
Now that we're getting closer to the end of the year, in my opinion so far,
They were all
2024
absurd.
hasn't
Yeah.
quite reached
I
the
mean, the whole
caliber of
concept of
previous
Cat
shows
Boys
yet.
is
Not that it's
absurd,
been a bad year for anime
right?
by any means, but the last few years it felt like full-on juggernaut years of anime. But fall 2024 could be about to change all that. We've got massive new shows, massive returning shows, hidden gems, more shows anyone could reasonably keep up with, and even following a summer anime season full of love and romance, we still have our dose of wholesome romances like Blue Box and what's this? Wait.
Okay, this season is actually full of love and romance as well. Um, a lot of the really good shows this season are romance, basically.
This is the complete opposite of wholesome. Who the hell would get invested in a love story like...
This is my favorite romance of the season. I am Sydney. Sydney is me.
Oh no, he's hot.
The punches being timed. The punches being timed with the music is great.
Man, don't you hate it when that happens? Doing what I do, maintaining a solid internet connection.
Okay, VPN sponsorship or whatever we pass. You'll be lurking.
Let's get back to this season's
Yeah,
anime.
come back for the Odoron video or Odoron watch along.
Oh, okay, seems simple enough.
Miscellany. That's it. I was like, what is it called? Mariah Carey's already defrosting. Oh wait, no. Back, come back. He started with how I attended all time. To be fair, this is okay, you'll see.
Let's get back to this season's anime. Well, okay, seems simple enough.
Objective heterosexuality. Obstacle, this anime. Just give up. Heterosexuality is a myth.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sexuality is
we
a
finally
spectrum.
made it. Canonically straight yaoi. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Is this for the usual fan base?
It's straight
Is this to
yaoi.
hit up a whole
No,
new
it's
demographic?
literally
Or, as
straight
my wife
yaoi.
calls it, is this just yaoi for cowards? All I'm
Yaoi
saying
for
is,
cowards.
boys, have you ever looked at your bro and thought, damn, I'm straight, but bro's looking good today? Now, if what if your bro
Haruhi.
still looks like a bro, acted like a bro, talks like a bro, but was actually a girl dressed up as a bro? You ever thought how that make you feel? Yeah, me neither. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, sometimes it takes a real woman to be best boy. Summer only gave us a handful of high-profile sequels, but it's...
Okay, so yaoi for cowards, it kind of is. Okay, I'm gonna say straight up. Watch that one. That one is a recommendation for me, okay? It is really funny, and it's I was watching it and I was just like, this really is just yaoi but straight. They basically were like, it has a lot of yaoi tropes too. So if you watch it, I feel like it's like gateway for people who are too afraid to get into yaoi. Like if they watch it, then they might be like, maybe I could try yaoi. You know, it's called How I Attended an All Guys Mixer. How I Attended an All Guys Mixer. So maybe search All Guys Mixer. Maybe that'll help. But yeah, it's very very funny. And one of the characters in particular really does spend the like so far his entire arc is just, am I gay? Because he is like, I am so attracted to this girl, but she looks like a guy. And I'm so confused because I didn't think I was into guys. That's it. That's his entire arc. In between link clicking, nice. One of the other characters, so this my favorite pair so far is this very naive puppy dog boy and his the girl he's into. She is a fujoshi. So she writes yaoi manga, and so she uses him and her friends as like references, and a lot of the comedy is just in all the weird positions. She walked him around in a dog collar once. I'm just gonna say that. So it's really good. It's really funny.
Certainly not a lack of
Okay.
this time. Bleach is once again continuing one of the biggest.
She writes high
comebacks
comment.
we've
She
seen in
totally
anime.
does.
For the gamers,
She
we have
writes
Shangri-La
like,
Frontier and Gun Gale Online 2. There are
and he
1,
has no
2,
idea.
3,
It's so funny.
4 isekai
Love it. It's
returning,
really,
which
it's
of course
really
includes
good.
the return of ReZero after a 4-year-long wait. It has been
No,
a
he's
hot
like
minute since I
he
last
doesn't
saw this, so I'm
understand
gonna
it
check the
though.
patch notes
He's like,
quickly.
oh, he's just helping
Okay.
out his sick friend, not
Okay.
understanding the expressions aren't like
What
sick.
the fuck? I'm not
You
gonna
know?
lie, I tried watching the first episode of this one, then I realized it's been way too long, so I'll probably need a refresher on season 2 first. Needless to say, this is the only time
ReZero season 3 pretty good so far, as expected. Season 3 is
Blue Lock. Now, after
the story
becoming
is getting
the
intense.
top-selling manga of 2023, outselling the likes of Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, even goddamn One Piece, I can say the newest anime really is continuing that legacy, giving us the
Hey
most
bro,
faithful
Monabe.
adaptation fans
Yeah.
could
Hey
ask
bro,
for, by
put your
truly making you
arms over
feel
your
like
head.
you're
Let me
reading a
just
manga.
tie them up.
If you guys know it, just move. It's all I want to see some movement. I'm not seeing enough movement.
There's a remake of Ranma, continuing the trend of resurrecting old classics to the modern
I feel so bad for Blue Lock because Blue Lock is just
legacy, giving us
like literally still frames. This is what I'm watching like every week, but the story is so good that I can't stop watching. Unbutton your shirt. Oh, totally. She has him do things like that. Yeah, like she ties him up, like she ties his hands over his head and pins him down. Okay. It's such a shame because like the really big match is coming up, and I saw some people getting excited. There was a bit more animation in the previous episode leading up to it, but I don't know, man. I'm the first episode had more animation, so people got excited, and then the second episode fell off immediately. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to get my hopes up again, but I'm gonna keep watching for the story and Ego in a
the
suit.
most faithful adaptation fans could ask for by truly making you feel like you're reading a manga.
Just move. If you guys know it, just move. It's all I want to see some movement. I'm not seeing enough movement.
There's a remake of Ranma, continuing the trend of
This is really good.
resurrecting
I
old
really like
classics
this.
to the modern day, and this is actually perfect for me because I actually
He can't figure out what the
never
tep-
watched Ranma
he's
before,
dumb. He's
outside of
very
just a few
dumb. He's a
episodes I
puppy
watched
dog.
as a kid, and I barely
He's
have
a puppy
any
dog
memory of,
type.
Aside from, was there boobs? We have our usual suspects in the fantasy category. Of course, we get another villainous anime. There's
I heard
some
that one's
evidence in
good.
Shadow if he wasn't actually OP, except everyone still believed that he is. I think
So I watched that one, the Sid, the Let This Grieving Soul Retire. I'm watching that right now. It is surprisingly fun. MC is an ass hat. He's a jerk. He is like, he really does not want to be doing this, and he refuses to do a good job. But everyone still really likes him. But I feel like somehow, because it knows that that's what he is and doesn't sugarcoat that, doesn't try to pretend it's anything else, I don't know, it's still pretty enjoyable. You just have to like accept that it's not a likable MC at all, you know? This one's cute. This one's very cute.
Someone mentions High Guardian Spice. Guys, I know we like to look down on that trope of having your protagonist buy slaves even though he's helping them out by letting the slaves join his party. I can understand how that can be a bit morally grey, so how about this protagonist? A guy who completely flips things on his head. See, he doesn't help slaves by buying them, he's helping out his party members by selling them into slavery. Wait, is that how it's supposed to work? Hold on.
I think I'm skipping that one.
1, 2, 3, 4. Where's all the new non-sequel isekai like usual? Is the era of isekai actually coming to an end? What's this one about?
一瞬テンション上がったがよくよく考えると異世界なんてめんどくさい
Damn.
Wow.
Even isekai is sick of isekai. Alright, enough of this stuff. What's the actual new hottest show this season?
おっぱい吸わせてやるからよ
Smells like milk. Kind of looks like milkshake.
No. You want consensual slavery only. Last season, there was a very good very sweet romance. I almost I gave it a 4 in the end. I wanted to give it 5 stars because I ultimately I don't think it's honestly amazing or anything, but it was one of my favorite like romance anime of the year because very I don't know, it's just very comforting. But it is a demon lord and his elf bride, and basically, I mean, he did get the elf bride via slavery, but he was saving her, and he does want to free her, and he does try to free her. But she's been through a lot of trauma, so she kind of like wants the collar almost like a ring, as she doesn't want to be abandoned, right? So because she's afraid of being abandoned, she still wants the collar. But it is still very wholesome because they are in a very mutual like house, like they're basically married and they're raising a daughter. They're raising a little dragon daughter. It's very cute. I do recommend it. Much better than the weird slavery shit going on in whatever we just saw there. I love that trope. Yeah, it's like it's actually really cute. This is Dandadan, and man, this is definitely like an incredible watching experience. I loved yesterday's episode. Or I watched the latest episode, and man, I almost cried.
Based on a manga from yet another one of Tatsuki Fujimoto's former assistants. Now, what the hell was this team that he had assembled? A team that has now given us the likes of Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, Dandadan, and Spy Family.
So, yeah, there's this very big like mangaka, and his team of assistants branched off to do their own things, of course, because that's, you know, the assistant thing is to help you get experience. And they've all released bangers, and most of them are really weird. And honestly, even the Spy Family author wrote some really weird sci-fi shit. And even Spy Family is still like sci-fi, you know? Um, he just felt like the stuff he was writing wasn't quite selling, and so he went a different direction for Spy Family. But even so, Spy Family is like really popular, right? But yeah, Chainsaw Man and Hell's Paradise are so good
Have been happening at that studio to pump
as
out
well.
hit
So
after hit after hit, and Dandadan looks like it's standing up with the best of them. Shonen Jump titles can sometimes feel like they're playing things by the book, following the tried and tested formula. So does Dandadan fit that mold? No. I don't even know how to describe the premise of the opening episode, but it plays out like a fever dream based on an Alex Jones monologue. Aliens, ghosts, psychic powers, spirit mediums, and then there's this old lady who sees a boy and goes,
it's like Clamp, except that they don't suck at coming up with new characters. Yeah, and yeah. And their styles are still very unique and very different. Like all of the art and everything looks very different. Because you know a Clamp work looks like a Clamp work. You know, like Clamp art looks like Clamp art.
this anime is anything but by the book, which is why Science Saru is not only the perfect studio to adapt it, but you get the sense that they've gotten their dream project. This is the anime studio equivalent of find someone who matches your freak. The animation is oozing with expression and character through every single goddamn frame of this show, even by their normal standards, and they just keep going every new episode.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying watching this show.
Doesn't turn you off, you are in for one amazing ride to come. We got another anime original. Let's see what this one's all about.
I'm so into the weirdness. Oh, this one's really good. This one's really good.
Just try to... Damn, he does not look like he's in a good place, and the doctors just gave him 2 years to live? Wow, what a way to start the episode. So, this is the story about a man with a terminal illness, huh? Oh, okay. So we're doing this now. When I imagine what would be in a cozy fishing anime, I don't normally associate it with a guy failing neck pull-ups, getting cancer, drowning in crippling debt, and getting scammed by the crypto market. Bro can apparently catch anything except a break. But this one's been interesting. For a series with such heavy topics...
You actually can't catch the fish very well yet either.
It kind of reminds me of Welcome to the NHK with a fishing twist, and I'm intrigued to see where this series goes.
どうせもう長くは生きていないんで人がそんな簡単に死んでたまるかよ
Did he just call terminal illness as a skill issue?
So I recommend watching that one for sure. It's very good, but it is very weird, like tonally. Because sometimes you're watching it and you're like, oh, learn how to fish. Because they do teach you a lot of fishing stuff. They teach you a lot about fishing. but then also experience existential dread. So tonally, it is a little bit all over the place, but in a good way. It's really good. Latest episode also again very emotional. The one before that very emotional. The new one is actually the new one's a little bit lighter, but it was very good. Okay, so this one, as you can see, is a little weird. He's a bad guy, but recommend this one too.
Hey, this is my man. Come get your man. Stop saying it's my man. Bro, come get your man. Why does everyone keep telling me that this is my man? Somehow this managed to be regression, incest, and NTR all in one. Going back in time to avoid marrying a guy who secretly wants to bang his sister. Well, that's the beauty of the regression genre. You
In
can
the
go
back,
to
come
being
get your
a 15-year-old to redo your life choices. Let's see who the next man in line is.
私はその年齢的に
理想的だ。
Sometimes people
Okay, I recommend it. It is good. Let me just try to get to the ending part here because I will read this to you. Okay. So yeah. I can't believe this just happened. I was just minding my own business trying to get away from that syscon weirdo. I was engaged to, and out of nowhere, Hades shows up and proposes to me instead. Not only that, but he apparently seems to think that my being 10 years old is ideal to him. He is 19, and that would have been too old for me back when I was 16. Okay. It's a regression anime. So basically, this princess, Jill, gets married to the crown prince. Although, honestly, I think they're the same age, Hades and the crown prince. So either way, he was always too old for her. Her fiance in both timelines was always too old for her. But anyway, she gets married to him. And then, 6 years later, she's about to be executed, on bullshit grounds because she discovered that her husband has been sleeping with his sister all this time. And he married her as a cover-up for that. And so now she's no longer useful, and thus he kills her. So she goes back in time with her memories and is like, okay, let's not do that again. And she proposes while running away from him to the first stranger that she meets. But the stranger that she meets happens to be the Dragon King of another land. Hi, Ven. Be respectful of the beard, right? What did I enter into? You entered into me explaining anime that I'm watching. And anyway, so this one's also really good. I actually do recommend it, and it's not obviously the bad guy is the syscon guy, so it's not because of that. So he is like has been kind of isolated his entire life because he has a curse and nobody likes him. His mom died, I think, like because of his curse. Yes, there is a man sleeping with his sister in this one, unfortunately. But it is played as a bad thing. It is played as a bad thing. So then so she proposed to him. She had met him because in the timeline, like in the other timeline, he's actually wreaked war against the whole world because he's lost control over this curse, right? And so basically now her goal is to not let that timeline happen where he destroys the whole world because of this curse. So ultimately, she agrees to stay engaged to him, even though she only proposed to him out of out of desperation to get away from the syscon, right? And so since she knows the future, she knows that it is her former husband who provokes him in the first place. So she's trying to avoid that, and all of that nonsense. So yeah, and so that's where we start the story. But she's very intelligent. He is honestly much more like naive and very pathetic and sad. He's very depressed because he really thinks that there's no happy ending for him because of this curse. I don't know. Just watch it. It's really good. I really like it. No. that this makes it sound really bad, but the story itself is actually really good. The not the Crest guy. The Crest guy is not cursed. The prince that she ends up with is cursed. The Crest guy is a bad guy. He is a bad man. Okay, he is a bad man. The Siscon is a bad man. Okay, so we have to keep that very clear. The Siscon is the bad one. The Dragon Prince, who is okay with a 9-year age difference, he's the good one. That sounds weird, but it's true. Okay, apparently in his like his parents also had like a big age gap. So I think that's why he's like okay with it. Like I think that was the weird explanation. And he doesn't really understand what love or romance is. So he's just kind of looking at the superficial things. He's like, well, they have a 10-year age gap and they turned out okay. So apparently that is normal. Good news, the cops are not here for you or Dawn. Good.
Sometimes people can really stretch the definition of a hidden gem, but I've seen
Okay,
almost
this one
no
is actually
talk
really
about
good.
this show that has piqued my interest like few other anime have. Orb on the movements of the earth. It's 15th century Poland, a time when you can get arrested, tortured, burned at the stake simply for researching any heretical beliefs that go against the common sense teaching everyone already knows. God created Earth and thus put it at the center of the universe. Enter Rafal, a genius, logical kid who just wants an easy life with a curious hobby in astronomy. He's going to study theology for an easy life path to further appreciate the teachings of God, until by chance he meets a convicted heretic who blackmails him and gives him something so awful, so dangerous it could get him killed. An idea. What if the Earth wasn't the center of the universe? The stars didn't revolve around the world, but instead the Earth revolved around the sun.
This is really
a
good.
Stupid, nonsensical idea that Rafal immediately dismisses as he goes home confident that he can disprove.
You were
that
about to
idea
shower
in
when
a
you looked at the
single
window and saw
night.
cops.
But as he starts thinking, as he starts entertaining the thoughts, mapping out the models, doing everything he can to dismiss the theory only to find himself falling deeper into it, he realizes something terrifying. Shit. What if this idea is actually right? It's rare nowadays that I see a concept I have never seen before, but this one fit the bill perfectly. A series about dropping the biggest twist on Earth lore in human history while having to keep it secret from the church to avoid death? Sign me the hell up. This is Nicholas Copernicus' Vinland Saga star with some genuinely fantastic storytelling and characters. Outside of Dandadan, this has been the new show I've been excited about the most. Take my advice. Go in blind and give this the 3-episode rule and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, this one is actually just legit very, very good. I will say that people who are not appreciating it tend to be people who just don't understand or don't give a shit about science. Also, this is not historically accurate in like any way, okay? These characters are largely made up. The story itself is like a dramatization of how things could have turned out, right? It is not realistic in any other like sense aside from the being set in the real world with, you know, these kind of like real beliefs. And the recent episodes talked a little bit about like the forgotten female voices of science and stuff. So it's like the ideas are real, the systems and the circumstances are real, the situations are kind of like realistic, but it's not historical, right? I have seen this called a documentary. And I think that speaks to how bad the American education system is, because it was definitely said by an American. And oh my God, no, this is not a documentary. Please don't watch this in place of an actual history class.
We got yet another I Can Fix Him
Ah!
quirky romance
Okay,
story about a girl
this
getting
is my
into a
favorite romance of the
marriage with a
season.
downright
I don't
psychopathic
care.
man that could only ever lead to the most toxic relationship of all time. You don't need to be a genius to see that this is just a bad idea. If you asked him what item best describes him, it'd probably be this. I mean, just look at him. I gotta ask,
Red
girls,
flag.
is this the kind of man you really want? Do you really think he can be fixed? I just think that...
Give me that.
Sydney, I'm recording... Hey, get... Sydney!
I love Sydney.
I am hijacking this video to give you a public service announcement. Ladies, are you tired of the same old boring anime nice guy love interest? Don't you want a fictional man with a little bit of spice to him? A man who's so
Yes, give me the spice.
infatuated with you, so obsessed with you, that he will protect you, keep you safe, even kill for you! In a fictional fictional setting. Sure, he might be a little mentally unstable. Sure, he might break a few laws. But he will worship you like the goddess you are! Like the goddess you deserve to be! Take your boring vanilla protagonists. Keep your majestic Prince Charmings. Why do we keep ignoring the undeniable fact that a little bit of crazy is just that little bit hot? Again, in a fictional setting. So I say to you, we don't want to fix him.
We don't.
We don't want him to be fixed.
We don't.
I hereby declare I'd rather let him ruin my life.
Yep.
I apologize about that, guys. I assure you, we only promote healthy relationships in this household. Okay, let's just move on. What do we got next? More Danmachi. All right, let's see what we got here.
You and Pulling for Sunday, exactly. You should play that. You should play Sydney's speech in the background as you pull for Sunday.
Are you tired of the same old boring anime nice girl love interest? Mecha-ude.
That was good.
The story behind this production is almost as interesting.
I really like when he involves his wife in his skits. And I think that was perfect. That was perfect. Him proceeding right into the same script right with Danmachi. Only in a fictional setting, of course. But that's the point of fiction. And that's the whole point. Fucking separate fiction from reality, you weirdos.
As the story of the show itself. The brainchild of Sai Okamoto, a young, ambitious animator who had a dream of directing her own anime. She put together a team and a Kickstarter, raising $65,000 to fund a pilot, which years of delays and struggles,
this has such a cool backstory for the project, you know?
But the dream didn't end there. That was clearly just a stepping stone to a much grander vision, which they announced last year to confirm that a full anime series was in production.
And this
now,
anime
8
series has
years
been
after
really
the
good so
original
far. I really like this
Kickstarter,
one so far as well.
This is what they have to show for it. One quick look, and you can immediately tell what the influences are. Glorious, over-the-top action, wearable limbs that are also sentient, Hiroyuki Sawano doing the soundtrack. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought this was an offshoot team from Studio Trigger, but that doesn't stop it from standing out from 90% of the other anime you usually see. It's a loud, in-your-face, bombastic action show that wears its influence on its sleeve, fueled by the passion of the people behind it. This project is clearly a dream come true for the creators involved, and while the plotline might not be something we haven't seen before, I am sincerely hoping they are able to pull off something special, so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. Oh hey, a harem anime where a guy moves into a shrine.
I am
and
not
has to
watching
pick
this
one of
one.
3 lovely shrine maiden sisters to marry.
But I
I've
do
seen
think
this
it
exact
looks pretty
plotline
good.
5 times before. One of them was Temperu.
In terms of like, if you like harem anime, it probably is something I would recommend.
The mid-2000s. The first 10 minutes was a goddamn speedrun of every cliche harem anime trope you could think of. This could be a nice comfort show, but it's gonna need to do something a bit different to really hook me. Editor, can you rewind back just a bit?
In terms of production value, though, it looks like a pretty good
again?
harem.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen. Another show revolving around getting married? Is anime trying to tell me something?
Okay, this one is just 2 autistic people getting married. All right? It's just 2 autistic people falling in love. He will describe them as kudere because I don't think he has been introduced to that concept yet. But they're just incredibly autistic. Like the latest episode, I will just tell you this because you should watch it. And it's a spoiler, but it doesn't matter. Okay? You know how these romances go. In the latest episode, this guy finally confesses. Yes, the concept is 2 incredibly autistic adults have to get married so that they can avoid going to Antarctica or Alaska. And so he finally asks her out in the latest episode. He finally gets up the nerve to ask her out. And rather than respond, simply because she can't, she is thinking to herself, respond, but she can't. For more than 10 full minutes, she stares at him while internally panicking. And she just becomes completely nonverbal.
Something?
The concept is autism.
結婚ってそんなにすごいことなのか？
The episode ends with him
Here we have two co-workers
like
who
just
decide to
quietly
stage an
leaving.
entire fake marriage, lying to their co-workers, lying to their parents.
What's wrong with Alaska? Well, I think the issue is they would have no like they would know no one and they would be cold. I don't think they want to live in that place. He doesn't know the concept of autism. Honestly, I don't think he does. I really want to introduce Gart to it, but I don't think he's considered it.
Going through an entire season-long Kaguya-style plan, all because they're afraid of being transferred to Anchorage.
So he just calls them kudere.
Shout out to the 10 anime fans in Anchorage catching strays. Honestly, I'm just happy to see more.
Yeah, but they already pay you to live in Japan, Kathy. Like, they're not getting more pay. They're still paying them to live, like, they're still paying them to do their work, Kathy. I don't think you understand. They would just then be isolated further. She collects maps for a hobby, by the way. Maps and rocks. That's actually all she does. She reads maps and collects rocks.
More romance anime with adult characters. This is the type of setting we need more of. Not yet another high school romance with socially awkward teenagers. This time we got two socially awkward adults so adverse to social interactions.
Him finding out about autism. I thought this was just an anime trope, honestly.
Alaska. So, you know, way more mature. Alright.
So, I was told that there is like a lot of autistic coding is kind of like made explicit, right? From somebody who works kind of like with people who, you know, do that. So they actually do for game characters and stuff sometimes give you a note that is like Japanese word for autism-ish. So some of it is kind of like very intentional. And yeah, it is often the characters we are thinking about, like that type.
Sorry about that, I had to shut my window. I could hear the entire continent of South America from here. Seeing Toei splice in highlights of the Buu arc with modern animation, I get the feeling it's only a matter of time before they decide to do a modern remake. But this time, the entire cast have been turned into kids in what looks like a new adventure with OG Dragon Ball vibes. Not gonna lie though, Goku being a kid isn't
I
gonna
hear
stop
this
his
is
fans
good.
from saying, well, you know, he's still strong, he can still beat All Might, he can still beat Gojo. Well, Dragon Ball fans, maybe, but can he beat this?
毎朝一番に来て誰よりも練習してあんなに悔しいって感情も持ってるのに
猪俣くんどうしたの？
Oh my god, Kathy, please.
Ah, woman basketball.
Oh,
Last season
no.
we had a jam-packed, all-you-can-eat buffet of great romance anime to pick from, and this season's heavy hitter seems to be this. Blue Box. I know I said earlier I was looking for a romance outside
I
of the
do
school setting, but
like
I might
this
just
one.
have to make an exception for this one. because
It's
this was
not
a
my
full-on
favorite
wrestling
like
shot
romance
straight
because
into my
obviously mine
veins.
is the
Not
red
only
flag
does it
one,
clearly
but
have
this is
high
really
production
beautiful.
values, especially among the other Blue anime, but it also really looks like they are not shying away from the sports aspect of the show either. You've got your tournament arcs, promise to go to nationals, an adorable romance brewing between two characters
Oh my
dedicated
God.
to their sports. This looks like a
Every
real 50-50
time there's a
split between
basketball
sports
on
anime and a
stream,
romance
it's just
drama.
Joey
One
saying
really
woman
disappointed this one up.
basketball.
I'm expecting a lot of good things, and I'm interested to see how they end up tying the romance to them hitting their goals.
I can't.
腹筋30回しよ
You'll die on this hill.
あれ
Yes, you will die.
春休みなのに早いね。
There's a show called Kimi wa Meiro-sama, or the official English name, You Are Miss Servant. A great name because as someone who knows a little bit of Japanese, I can confirm it's pretty hard to find an accurate translation of the word Meiro. Can't think of any word at all. This is basically
I can't wait to
Violet
score
Evergarden
in
meets that
basketball.
crazy maid from Black Lagoon. It's cute, but also she's a kudere, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to connect with her that much.
変わらず味の良し悪しの判別なんてつきはしない。
On second thought, she might fit right into trash taste. For anyone looking for a magical girl,
That one is kind of, yeah, I think that a lot of people are kind of like, oh, it feels kind of boring. I do think the execution is still a little bit boring right now. But I'll keep watching it. It's more like a comfort show. It's more like a comfort show.
anime, we got Acro Trip, aka PG-13, gushing over magical girls. But the one I got my eye on is
I'm not
Magical
watching this
Lumiere.
one.
For
Oh, this one I'm
satirical,
watching.
Grounded take of magical girls where they fight the biggest evil of all, corporate management. This may be a magical girl anime with fantasy elements, but
Fair.
I don't think we're gonna get a more true-to-life representation.
Corporate
of the
management
job hiring process in
is
the
a
modern
challenge
day.
to overcome.
仕事はないか金がない
I stand corrected. This one was surprisingly enjoyable. You've got an all-powerful demon lord with unmatched potential, a mastery of deadly magic, is able to bend the entire world to his will. He gets resurrected 500 years later into a cyberpunk world where his legacy is forgotten, his followers have moved on, and technology has rendered his all-powerful magic completely useless. Motherfucker just got the true Zoltrak experience. It's a mishmash of such a wide variety of
This
tropes,
one's pretty
genres,
good.
and settings, and somehow it works. You're seeing
Surprisingly
House
fun.
Volgoad getting
I like this
humbled
one a
and being
lot.
forced to survive in the world of Cyberpunk
More than I
2077,
want to
where
admit.
The show asks, what can even a demon lord do when he has no job prospects, no qualifications, no experience to speak of, and no practical skills that would be useful at all?
Yep.
こんばんもさん
Yes, it is like Devil is a part-timer.
Becomes a Twitch streamer.
So it's a bit more extreme in a way because, okay, Devil is a part-timer. Yeah, it is very similar to Devil is a part-timer though. So it's very similar to Devil is a part-timer, except that Devil is a part-timer, more of the main actual story comes later and it takes place in the political, in like attempt at overthrowing him that's happening in the other world. So he does have to go back. But in Mao, you get into it right away because the attempt is already being done in this world. In this world, his allies have already started trying to take over and destroy his legacy. So, but yeah, it's very, so the story happens a little bit faster.
Experience
Him on
doesn't end
Catching
there, though,
Strays.
as we have an anime about an unlikely
No,
couple
Genshin
rising
Catching
up to
Strays,
become
to
the
be
world's
honest.
First trillionaires. Their secret: spend all their early investments on stupidly expensive office chairs like this. Like, okay, I'm not looking for the most realistic story in the world, but how's that
It's an
gonna help?
investment.
These guys are gonna be trillionaires, I tell you.
Okay, this is actually really good. It is from the writer of Dr. Stone and also I Shield 21. I'm not watching Dr. Stone. I gave up after the first season, but I Shield 21 is my favorite sports anime, and it's the only sports anime I will call like my favorite sports anime. It's the only sports anime I really recommend and watch because the writer himself is so good at character writing. He's so good at writing like these really over the top characters that somehow still work, and the scenarios are not really that realistic, but it doesn't matter. You're completely pulled in anyway. So yeah, this is, so far I've been watching this one and I'm like excited every episode, every week. It's so good.
They know exactly what they're doing. This is 100% based on reality. Like how a lot of the internet's reacted to this.
Your
When you
favorite
hear a title
sports
like
anime
My
is
Wife
Prince of
Became an Elementary
Tennis
School
live
Student,
action.
You're probably gonna be like,
Valid.
damn.
Seiya's
Don't let
favorite
Drake
sports
find out
anime is
now,
Prince of
but anyone
Tennis.
who
She
actually
really
watches
loves
this
it.
will realize this is a ridiculous title that misrepresents the type of show that this is. 10
Suma
years
show
on
is really
after a
good.
man lost his wife
This
to
one has
illness,
been-
he
oh,
and
man.
his daughter have never
This
gotten
one has
over
been
it.
so-
A shadow
so
of the
good.
people they used to be. Nothing has truly filled that hole that their wife and mother had left when she passed away. Until one day when she shows up at their door as a reincarnated 10-year-old kid. Except, no. The family gets a second chance to spend precious time together. The father rediscovers his purpose. The daughter gets her motherly role model back that she was missing. But as the episodes play out, you feel this
Favorite to
melancholic
mock.
atmosphere. We're all armed with the knowledge that these happy times can't last forever. Eventually, they're going to have to face the reality of the situation, and you're sitting there, prepping
They are
your heart
catching
for when
strays
that
for no
ball is
reason.
finally going to drop. It's a story about coping with the loss of a loved one and how to move on from that. And while the title is bait as hell, it could have been worse. I mean, what if it was this exact title except oh no.
That would definitely be worse.
Junji Ito is one of the most influential manga.
Not the Kendrick Cusby. And now I understand it. No, like honestly, Suma Show is really good. It has been like very emotional and sentimental. I really like the story that it tells about like the family like learning to move on finally. in like in a way that like most people wish that they kind of had like someone to hold their hand to do that. Um, and also like on the other hand, it's not just like about that family. It also realistically looks at like what the hell it would do for that girl to kind of lose, like, to gain a bunch of new memories and then almost like lose her own memories as a child, right? While she's living with her current family, right? Especially because her current family is also not in a good place. So now I feel like the story is shifting to how do we help this little girl and her current family become better? Like how do we help the mother who's been through so much move on so that she can take care of her kid properly?
Because in the horror world, producing some of the most unnerving, terrifying stories you can find in the medium, true works
It wasn't
of
the
art
widest
deserve an
explanation.
anime that
It
gives
was
them
an
justice.
explanation
But
for
time
white
after
people.
time
And
after
I
time
didn't give
again,
the
people have
the
attempted to adapt his
explanation.
work, and every
I
single time
let
which
Josh
that
Johnson
failed,
do
it
it.
has resulted in an anime that was more cursed than the stories it was adapting. That is, until 5 years ago, a trailer was released on what is arguably his magnum opus, Uzumaki. And the most terrifying thing about this was, unthinkably, it actually looked good. This was it.
For one
The last
episode.
chance. If this didn't work, there was no hope in hell a good adaptation could ever be done. Just one more time, we can hope. Then, radio silence for 5 whole years.
I tried
Until
first. I didn't
today,
try
when
first.
I'm proud to say
I just
they
said that I
finally
heard
did it.
about it,
They
and then I was
actually
like,
did
I'm
it,
gonna
boys.
let
Look
Josh
at this.
Johnson explain
This
it.
is beautiful. It's unnerving. It's everything a Junji Ito adaptation should be. They did it. They really did it. I hate everything.
And yet it has more animation than Blue
Hey
Lock.
guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you very much this month too. Author Curtis Eckstein.
They're not wrong. He's not wrong. It does have more. Yeah, okay. I just, oh god. So there is a video out about kind of possible reason why that happened, but it is speculation. But you know, with a lot of uh I guess like history to back it up, right? So it just sucks either way because it does seem like it was a decision made to cut costs and to get like, you know, a project that would take too long out of the way faster, without any consideration for, you know, the art being put into it. So it's a shame. It's a shame because the first episode was really good. And it's only 4 episodes. So if they had maybe had time to do just 3 more episodes, like just were given the time. Like, come on, man. Just 3 more episodes. It's a shame. So the style, it's because of the style of the manga. Like this one actually follows the style of the manga. But the first episode was really really good. And yeah, it's a shame that the following ones failed. And the style of the other anime adaptations has been more like regular anime styles, and I think that's why part of why they didn't work because he is a very stylized type of like writer, like mangaka. So to have it in his style did make things, I think, like more unnerving as they should have been. So I do feel like you can't, it was good they attempted that and they did that. But yeah, I mean, it's a horror anime, Cafe. It's meant to freak you out. If it freaks you out, that's the whole point. If you are into being freaked out, then yeah, you can watch it. And if you're not, then that's fine. But that's kind of the whole point. Because they tried to do his art style in regular anime style, and it's always failed, right? So I think they needed to do that. But then yeah, the animation just dropped off so bad in episode 2. Ah, such a shame. Hi, Deuterium. Okay, okay.